To the Level Up Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, John. I have my analysts with me for the night, Wes and James. We're going to get into some NFL talk. We had some good games this past weekend, starting with the one on this past Thursday night. And we've also had some great games. One game in the day in London. I'm pretty sure it didn't go the way some thought it would have went, but for others, it went well. We'll get into the games that we have for today, as well as some game picks at the end of the talk. All right, we're going to kick this thing off, starting with that game on Thursday night with the Atlanta Falcons playing against the Buccaneers. And the first question we have is, how good can the Falcons be with that type of offense that they had from the Buccaneers game on Thursday? I will start with my man Wes, since he is a true Falcons fan.
Yeah, howdy. Yeah, I know going into it, we knew that their offense was going to be special, right? I mean, they brought on these parts to help them out. Um, I started looking into it, and before they played the Bucks, Cousins had only thrown for 4 passing touchdowns leading up, and they've only had one rushing touchdown. And I
Mhm.
thought that was pretty surprising. Um, But then, they did play the Saints, Steelers, Chiefs, and Eagles, which at the time, we were thinking going in that, those going to be pretty formidable teams. So,
Mhm.
and you know, when they came into that game, he threw four, so he's doubled it up now. So we have 8 touchdowns and still one rushing touchdown for the season. Um, but I was surprised that before that huge game between London and Mooney that they're very similar. They're close to each other. London has 354 and Mooney 330 yards receiving this year, but Cousins is on top of the board with 1,373 yards passing,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the next person to him is I think right around 900, I believe 900 908. Um, so they can be really good. They can be, you know, they can score points. I think the biggest surprise for them is their defense. The defense has been keeping them to where, they have a chance at the end of every game. Um, and as long as their defense doesn't give up big plays, I think they're going to continue to, you know, squeak it out at the end. They got to get better on third down for sure, though. Uh, they're only 60 to 52, which is about 30% uh, once they get behind the stick. So it's important for them to really benefit on that first and second down and get
Mhm.
out in front of the chains. Um, but
So would you say that you could put, how far would you give them as far as a potential playoff team? How far would you see them going as it stands right now?
well, hey, look the way they're playing. I mean, I, I could I could see them being in, uh, contending and possibly even winning as long as their defense, uh, you know, handles their business because it's like I said, you have Cousins and he's doing Cousins things at the end of the game, and their defense is keeping in it and they're scoring points. I
Mhm.
mean, defense wins championships, but I mean, you got to have offense. You got to score those points. And right now they're limiting those big plays and they're doing well.
Mhm.
They're averaging right now their passing average is 7.7 per play.
Yep.
And then their rushing attempts are 4.5 per per rush. So I mean that puts them right there. They're generally around 5.8 yards per play, and the opponents their totals are 4.9. So they're ahead of the game as far as that. As long as they can uh, control the possessions and limit turnovers, which they
Right.
have the past 2 games. But their offense is something special. I mean, it's potent. Um, I don't think there's anyone that would disagree, and I think it's just going to get better. They're going to have to figure out how to run the football, and I think
Mhm.
they'll get to that point. And when they do, it's just going to open up the field even more so to Cousins. But right now, he's still picking them apart. Now the interceptions are a little more. than I think he would like, and the Falcons would. But he's past few games, it's really starting to click with him, London, Mooney, and
Hmm.
all of those guys. That they're really playing. They're playing lights out right now.
All right. James, how far do you see the Falcons with that type of offense that they played recently with the Buccaneers? How far do you see them going?
Well, with that type of offense, it looked like they could be a Super Bowl contender. Just kind of looking. I'm watching them, and they're 3-2 right now, and they've been struggling. Kirk Cousins was struggling a little bit in the beginning, but yet you find yourself 3-2. So with that type of potent offense, they definitely have a chance to really be Super Bowl contenders. At least make it to the Super Bowl, not necessarily win the Super Bowl. And maybe they don't make it to the Super Bowl, but at least they definitely have a chance to make it to NFC game. Definitely, because you got Kirk Cousins, you got Bijan Robinson, and even Tyler Algier. He's been playing, all right. They have confidence in him as well. You got Mooney, you got London receivers, you got Kyle Pitts. I mean, they have a lot of offensive weapons out there to make it work. Kirk Cousins, a lot of people didn't really believe in him coming back. From the injury. I mean, I still really saw him as a threat, as a top quarterback. Sometimes injury does slow you down, but
Hmm.
now like he's warming up to it. He's starting to feel more confident, and that's dangerous when Kirk Cousins starts to feel confident in the pocket. So yeah, I definitely see that they can make a playoff run for sure. They can make it to that NFC Championship game, but for them to go any further, that defense really got to buckle down because you're 3-2, and they won this game 36-30. That's a lot of points. I mean, you got a good Buccaneers team over there, with a good quarterback with some good offensive weapons too. But yeah, your defense got to play better, and they got to work that out. But I give them some kudos. They're starting to kind of work as a cohesive unit. So I like what I'm seeing.
All right. So let's see the upcoming schedule they have. They're at the Carolina Panthers, winnable. They have a home game versus Seattle. That's definitely winnable. They go to Tampa Bay the next time. Then they play the Dallas Cowboys at home, and then they're at New Orleans. Then they're at Denver. That'll be two tough games for sure, just based off because of their defense. Then they play the Chargers at home, at the Vikings, tough team. At Las Vegas. By that time, a lot of things will change. We're still awaiting to see what happens with Devontae Adams. But then you play the New York Giants, winnable game at Washington. Washington's starting to come on, looking pretty good, even with a rookie quarterback. And then they end the season, Carolina Panthers. So those two games right there with the Carolina Panthers alone, I see them as wins. I definitely see them they have a definite chance to win the division. So I know that offhand. Um, if they can actually get more wins down the stretch, and I mean after November and going into December, they can definitely be a divisional team and possibly host a team, yes, in divisional playoffs and possibly the conference championship. The one thing I'm looking at for them, fellas, is right now they're 15th in points. They're ninth in yards. They average about 357 yards per game. Um, the one problem that I do see, and I know you were saying about them, Wes, about the sacks or uh, their defense, it has looked better, definitely better from what it was last year. I can definitely agree with that. Right now, this is the only problem I saw on the other night in that game that I would say there would be a possible issue. Is they're 32nd in the league in sack percentage, and basically they weren't able to get off the field on third downs, is what I saw.
Yeah, they
When it
don't
comes down to
blitz.
those great, yeah, when you come down to those great teams that really match up well against you, and maybe they have a few players here or there, key players that, they're healthy that week and a couple of years or not. I think that's what it's going to boil down to, whether it becomes a win or if it's a loss or something. So, but I definitely see them as of right now winning that. They could definitely win that division. I mean, everybody knows Tampa Bay should have won that game. That's my opinion. Because after that interception, but the one thing I give credit to him, Kirk Cousins, when he threw that interception the other night, he didn't look like he wavered at all. He went back to the sideline, he gathered himself together, and went back out on the field. And his coach was behind him. I saw him whisper something in his ear. It's like, man, we got you. And he went back on the field, and he just let it rip. He didn't. It's like the interception never happened. happened in that game. And the man, I mean, I thought it was one of the best wins I've seen a quarterback have with a new team in a long time, where he has confidence now. Uh, the fans can have confidence in him. He can have confidence in them, and it's just going to be better for him. Anybody have?
Yeah, he looks a lot more comfortable now than he did the first couple
First week,
games
yeah.
of the season, for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, and it was still looking like, he wasn't getting a lot of the zip off of that pass because it was almost like he was still kind of favoring it, or he was unsure about pushing off on that back leg where he had the Achilles injury.
right.
But he's looking a lot better. That offense is looking a lot better. And I would say for some reason, even last year, this defensive coordinator, he doesn't dial it up. It's more zone to him than anything.
Hmm.
It's more man to man. Only less than 30% of the time are they even attempting to blitz. So, but they're not giving up huge plays, and their defense is holding enough to where they're within striking distance of a win
Right.
each game. So that's
Yeah.
that's what I look forward to.
And
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Go
thing
ahead,
is,
James.
I'm gonna throw for 400, 500 yards every week, so that running game
Mhm.
come alive, and I'm sure it will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Patient
Yeah.
the rock.
Definitely. Definitely. The Falcons are looking a lot better. All right. So we'll go ahead and go to the second question for this evening. And this one is involving Devontae Adams. And the question is, what team should Devontae Adams go to? This is a key thing in order to win a Super Bowl. In order to win a Super Bowl, not the team that he may have better stats per se with, but hey, what team is the best fit you think that he should go to in order to win Super Bowl? James, I'll start with you, and then I go to Wes.
Yeah, this one it's easy to just pick a team and say he can be a good fit and win a Super Bowl with this team or that team, because there's a lot of great teams already that's already Super Bowl contenders. But let's go ahead and try to stick to the ones that he's interested in. He's interested in a few teams right now. New Orleans and the Jets are a couple of teams he's interested in, because we know he have chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. But technically, I don't think that's really a better fit for him, because right now, for me as a Jets fan, yeah, I would love to have Adams give us an extra weapon out there with Aaron Rodgers on being QB. But the defense was a little bit kind of surprising. We held our own. I was a little shocking at first during this game earlier today, but kind of looking, I just don't feel like he would win a championship. He's closest to winning a championship with the Jets. But I'm looking at New Orleans. New Orleans, their defense is good out there too, and they got a lot of good weapons. So it's a hard comparison, because Jets got a great running back too, but the running game been kind of slow. I don't know what's going on. So, but Alvin Kamara over there in New Orleans with that running game and that passing reception, because he's a receiving running back too. So I think that kind of boosts the game a little bit. It makes him look a little bit better being in New Orleans. Honestly, I think if he was to be at New Orleans, he definitely would have a great chance of winning a Super Bowl there, because I think honestly, he'll probably make a big difference in New Orleans. And he go to New Orleans, you probably look now and say, wow, New Orleans might be Super Bowl contenders, because their defense is solid, is looking good. They got great offensive weapons, and him being the receiving part of the game right there will make it a whole lot better. Because when you look at receivers, you can't really name a great receiver, like a really solid receiver. Well, yeah, they have one solid receiver that I'm not going to take away from, but just imagine if Carr had a little bit more weapons out there. Because I look at the Jets, I feel like they have some good weapons. Having another top receiver would make it good for them, but I'm just not feeling. It's something I feel like the Jets are missing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just Aaron Rodgers kind of looking old, and he's just a little bit slow from that injury, but I'm just not seeing it over there for the Jets.
All right. So, Wes, who do you say Devontae Adams should go to?
Well, I mean, I think wherever he goes again, he's going to be, he's going to make whatever team he decides much better.
Okay.
I think we're all agreeing with that. I mean, I think if he doesn't reunite with either Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't reunite with Carr, I don't think Carr gets you there to the Super Bowl. I think he is he has some weapons around with Olave, and some other pieces there, but I just don't see the Saints being a true contender. But I guess we'll know here in the next
Next few
few.
days. It won't be long.
Yeah. The Jets are in a win now mode, but the last few weeks, man, that the running game has just not looked good at all. It has not really opened up. It's caused a lot of you know frustrations for them. But I feel like the best place that he should go to win right now and win a possible Super Bowl would be the Ravens. If the Ravens can pick him up where he can have, Flowers and himself running on opposite sides. The problem with that would be the fact that the Ravens, I mean, they run the ball, right? That's what they do. They're the Ravens. In fact, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are in the top 10 in the NFL in rushing right now, and they're on the same team. So that tells you what their, no pun intended, their Matt Forte, if you will, is that run first mentality. But I would love to see him go to the Ravens. I know the Jets would hate to see him go to the Ravens and the Bills and some others, but I believe that is going to be probably one of the best chances this year. Maybe they give him some money for that, for the year. Say, this is what we'll give you. Give us the Super Bowl this year. Same thing with the Jets. Give us the Super Bowl this year, and then work out something, the next season. Because I don't know really how much cap space they may have where they can, and what he's looking for as far as a contract.
Wes, you kind of cheating now, man. You're gonna pick Baltimore. I might as well go on and pick Kansas City. Like I said, they need a receiver.
They do. I mean, they do, but I don't think that's like. I think Kansas City's probably going to go after Hopkins or someone else. I mean, if they do get him, it's just cheating, right? It's just cheating at this point. If the Chiefs can do that, because and it's the same like San Francisco. I can say that. I mean,
Exactly.
Actually, so let me piggyback right there. So right where you guys left off. So it's not. I don't think it's too far fetched that he mentioned the Baltimore Ravens. There's a lot of people, if you watch different sports networks that have said Baltimore Ravens. There's only put it like this. Let me just say this first. There's only certain teams that can actually afford him with his salary, and that actually have the cap space. One of which was the Jets. The other one would be the Dallas Cowboys. Another is the Washington Commanders. And there's another team that's out there that is able to actually pick him up.
Well, I'm sure it's the Browns. Or
not the Browns. It wasn't the Browns. But teams that he would actually interested in the Saints. Saints could actually do it. So, I mean, for as far as that's concerned, those teams, I don't know how the teams that he said he was interested in. Yes, he was interested in the Jets. He's interested in the Saints because he wants to play. He wouldn't mind playing with Derek Carr because he only got a chance for 1 year with him, and then they traded him. And so, but there was another team that I read in reports that said that he was interested also in the 49ers. Well, as of right now, everybody knows the 49ers are that type of team where they like to run the ball, but they have a missing piece, and that's Christian McCaffrey. Now they have Jordan Mason, who's been holding that down pretty good.
Well.
But imagine if you have, and that's who I believe that it would be his best pick to me. They've been knocking on the door of the Super Bowl for the last few years. If they're going to do it, they need to do it now. So if you put him on one side, Ayuk on another, you got Kittle at tight end. You still have a really good offensive line, and you have a very good quarterback who I think is very underrated in the league. I would say that it would be better fit for him to go to San Francisco if they so choose to pick him up. He will be out of the AFC. He will be in an NFC team. And let's be honest, Kansas City Chiefs need a receiver. Let me tell you right now, Raiders is not going to help him to send him over there to their division to have that You gonna
Yeah.
give
It
me a player
depends.
that's gonna beat
It
you for the
depends.
next 4 years? I don't think so.
Well, it depends. What are they going to get?
That
I
too.
mean, it's a business.
Oh,
What are they going to get?
they'll get compensation for him because, like I said, there was multiple teams that reached out immediately once they heard the report. So it's multiple teams that reached out already. Now there are multiple teams that want him, but there's only so many teams that can afford him.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that's
state.
what at the end of the day it's going to
Yeah.
come down to.
So that's why I kind of think that it's got to be so right. Either it's he wants to win now kind of thing, and he's willing to do something for the end of this season, and then be an unrestricted free agent next year, or work out a deal and try to find a home then. But I mean, hey, what if he goes to the Steelers? I mean, the Steelers would be a pretty interesting choice.
I mean,
Now wait, would you want to go to a team they're really trying to still figure out if they're going to let Justin Fields be the quarterback?
exactly.
They don't know if it's going to be Russell Wilson.
Well, I think Tomlin knows that it's Fields, and I think after tonight, it's really gonna, when they run all over with the Cowboys, it's gonna be, Fields is to lose.
So back to the initial question. So Wesley, you got who that you think he's gonna end up with? Who do you say? One team.
I think for him, what would be best for a Super Bowl now would be the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens. Okay, James, who do you say?
I say with the options that he have, like where he wants to go, I'm going by where he wants to go and where he got a better chance based on where he wants to go. Based on the two teams that's on the top of his list, I'm going to say the Saints because we got to be realistic of where the guy really wants to go because right now, of course, he holds the cards. He's practically going to go to a team that he really wants. I don't think I really want him to go to the Jets because that makes our team look a lot better and gives us a better chance. Like I say, they look kind of shaky right now for some reason. And if he wants a better chance, I feel like he got a better chance in New Orleans right now. Carr, he's been a solid quarterback with weapons around him in the running game and a solid defense. Who say he can't win? There's other quarterback with less stature, of caliber quarterback who's wanted. So,
okay, all right. So
he's going to go where he wants to go.
It's true. He will go where he wants to go. So we do have the Saints. You said the Ravens, and I'll stick with the 49ers. We'll see. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think we'll probably have some breaking news somewhere between now and midweek. I don't think it's going to take that long.
I mean, but good God, the 49, I mean, that's like a cheat code, too. That's like a Madden cheat code.
You're saying it's a cheat code, but guess what? They haven't won. They've been to the Super Bowl, but they have not won it.
They have not won. They haven't won it. That's right.
They have not won it.
But they could win a Super Bowl without him. So go imagine Adams going there. It's like a no-brainer. It's almost like.
But this is the kicker, and this is what the reports have shown. The key piece, though, what would happen is what I've read in reports is Ayuk, who was disgruntled because he didn't get his money, would be the option who they would trade. They would trade Ayuk to the Raiders. They would have a receiver, and they would also have some type of maybe a pick or something in a later round.
Yeah.
And then Devontae Adams would go
to the after another tight end.
Huh?
So the Raiders could go after another tight end.
Well, they got Brock Bowers. I think they're good right now.
I know. I was just saying they love those tight ends, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to the next question. The next question is for after week 5 games so far, and this is just for today. What two teams have you been impressed with the most? That's after week 5 games. What two teams have you been impressed with the most? James, I go back to you first, and then I go to Wes.
And the Vikings and the Commanders, of course, who can't be surprised by the Vikings? Actually, when the season started, I was like, well, I'm not picking up Justin Jefferson as my fantasy player because I'm like, he ain't got
his word. Yeah.
The Vikings is 5-0. Their defense is stupendous. They're looking great. They're making plays, offense, and then Arnold is making plays down the field. And I'm amazed. I'm surprised. I'm speechless. And then you look at same thing with Commanders. They're looking surprisingly good. With their rookie quarterback Daniels, it's like, wow, you guys are playing great. But of course, if I can only pick two, those are the two. But I want to throw Buffalo in there. That's one of those third teams that I really, didn't think they were gonna be playing as well as they are right now. But you got my two, Vikes and Commanders, playing great, looking good.
All right. I think we're gonna have some of the similar
I-
answers on this one, but we'll see what Wesley says. What are your two
he,
teams?
he nailed it on the head, my man. I mean, I had the Vikings and the Commanders down. I'll tell you why. Absolutely everything he said is true. When Cousins left, they cut Matt Carroll. They added Darnold to 10 million because they wanted someone to show JJ McCarthy, the way to be a team leader in that clubhouse. You got that Brian Flores defense that's absolutely pounding quarterbacks. I mean, over a 50% blitz rate. And they minimize the mistakes. I mean, that's what's really helping them out. And they have a great offensive line.
Yeah.
And they're doing this without one of their best receivers in TJ Hawkinson. He'll be back
Yeah, he'll
probably
be
in
back
another
soon.
week or
Mm-hmm.
two.
Yep.
And I mean, it's amazing what they're doing. At the beginning of the year, they were expected to finish last in the NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the lowest win total in the division at the time, set at 6.5 games, with their division odds at plus 900 for BetGM. I mean, same as Commanders. I mean, the Commanders. Look at every piece that they sent away, that they brought in, that Quinn and that the new GM and everyone, revamped that whole defense and offense. It started really solidifying towards what we're used to with Quinn and the defense. They won 4 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
They've already matched that this year. I mean, basically. I mean, and they too were set to only win 6.5 games. Jaden Daniels has looked fantastic. I mean, he's leading in accuracy going into today through 4 games. He's thrown for 3, run for 4 scores. The Commanders last year threw the ball 636 times between 3 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That was 4,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 21 interceptions. And then running the ball last year, they had a total of 14 touchdowns. Going into this game, they already had 10. Lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns with 10. And I'm sure they've added to it today for sure. So
Yes,
they
did.
are on pace. They are on pace to amass over, 2,800 yards rushing and 42 touchdowns on the ground this year. I mean, it's just fantastic what they've been able to do between Eckler Robinson and Rodriguez, the rookie and all. It's just, it's a no-brainer for me. I think they're building towards the future. They went out and they also added Noah Brown and Alamod Zacchaeus. It was from it was an Atlanta Falcon
Yep.
last year. So I mean,
I remember him.
and Jameson Crowder. So I mean, with Ertz, they got a lot of veterans in there, like good core players, and I mean they are firing all cylinders. I mean I think by far both are the surprise of this year because you didn't know, like he said, I mean I skipped over. I didn't get Justin Jefferson because I was like, oh God, this is. I mean, who's going to throw it to him? What's going to happen? And
Right.
then hell, him and Addison and all, they've just been studs. They've just been winning. And kudos to him.
All right. Yeah, I would say the same. Kudos for definitely both of them. Yeah, Amon is on the call. So Amon, we're gonna go ahead and get your take. 2 questions. Well, the first question was for this one was after week 5 games, what 2 teams have you been impressed with the most?
Well, first off, how y'all brothers doing? But
Good, man. Good.
Good, doing well.
it's well, I agree with both what James and Wes said. I can't really say too much. They pretty much spoke on both of it. Both of the reasons why those teams are like the Vikings and the Commanders. I will say this though. I will say just just to change up. I'll say the Steelers actually surprised me because I didn't think they'll be like this good, to be honest with you. Especially in that division when you had the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns supposed to be like a lot better than the Steelers. So I will say the Steelers and Justin Fields, what he's been able to do. And just think, if he ever gets hurt, you got Russell Wilson on the bench. And the whole thing with Mike Tomlin in the hot seat, and I don't know. I just think that they've done, like, they exceed the expectations. I believe. I mean, even they don't make the playoffs, which the way it look, it might make the playoffs, lead that division. But to answer the question, I agree the Vikings and the Commanders, and I will say with the Commanders, I think it was just all change of leadership too, because I think the same group that bought them, the ones who purchased the Dodgers, I believe, and the Dodgers won the World Series, like, I think, what, a year or two ago. And prior to that, the Dodgers never could get over the hump. And it's just, excitement and just new ownership and new players, and the players who don't want to be there, ship them out, So I believe sometimes it just changes in leadership and coaching, and just culture can actually help. So, that's my take on that one. I'm driving. Yeah. So if I stop talking, that's because I'm trying to focus on driving. I don't know AirPods there.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I think all of us pretty much has the same. They are the surprise team this year, because when you have your rookie quarterback for the Vikings goes down with the injury, and we were questioning and wondering who's going to throw him the ball, who's going to throw Justin Jefferson the ball, and Addison and some of the other guys. Now, I did know that. I mean, having Aaron Jones with the Green Bay Packers for however many years going there was going to be a help in the run game, especially with since they no longer have Dalvin Cook. But I did not know Brian Flores was going to have his defense playing like they're playing. That's the first and foremost thing. That's that thing that stands out to me, the defense. Second is the play of Sam Darnold. Going from the Jets to the Panthers to the 49ers, and then actually getting to a team that actually it works well with the offense of what they're trying to do, and he understands it, and he's just executing. I thought he had got injured for a second today in that game again in London, but he got back up. He had Nick Mullins, and that's the thing. The offense is flowing so well. Nick Mullins came in off the bench. You know how it is when you're a backup. You don't know what's going to happen. But they had the faith in him to throw the ball down the field on the first play. He got in the game, pulls him out, and then Sam Darnold's ready to go back in it, and they continue on. So that was number one for me. And then as far as the Commanders having a quarterback who's a Heisman winner, you're young. He's talented. And I remember when we first went over the draft, I thought I was wrong last year when I picked I said Bryce Young would be the better out of he and Stroud, but I was terribly wrong. But I did pick that one. I said that I think Daniels would be better as far as possibly a rookie of the year, just based off of what he brings to the table and what the Washington Commanders have been trying to do for years. Just have solid play at quarterback, and that's what they've been missing. And he's definitely giving them that and an extra dimension with his legs. So as you guys said, man, more power to him. I just hope we don't have him on the schedule anytime soon, which I know we got the Vikings later. We got them one more time, but so maybe we can get some payback for the Green Bay Packers to the Vikings later on in the year. Did anybody else have anything to add to that?
Nah, I mean, he's magnificent. He's looking very good. He's on track to throw for nearly 4,000 yards, 13, 14 touchdowns, and run for another 10. I mean, and as long as he keeps up the efficiency with the passing at 80%, I mean, gosh, you could be talking about definitely rookie of the year candidate, but maybe even offensive MVP.
Definitely. All right, so we'll go to question number 4. And the question is, the Chiefs are winning games this year, but each week it seems to be a struggle. What percent chance would you give them to three-peat this year? So give me a percentage in your answer. I'll go back to you, Amon, first, and then I'll go James, West, and then myself.
I give them, like at least a 6% chance. I mean, because 60%. Because I mean, like back in the day, I'm be that guy. Back in the day, they didn't pay players like they play now. So these guys, 3 championships, buttload of money. It's really at this point, it's kind of like what's your incentive? Like you're gonna get paid. You got the rings already. It's kind of like, you're kind of playing just for like just for craps and giggles. I put like that. It's kind of like, okay, let's see how many points it could be down before we to come back, just so it won't like look so easy. But I think really, I just really believe they're I ain't say their heart's not in it because I don't really see like John, you gonna laugh at this. Okay, the Patriots, no matter how many championships they won, Brady still wanted more. I don't really see that with Mahomes. I know he wants to win, but I don't see like he's not like a psychopath like Brady was as far as like winning. He wasn't just Brady was like obsessed with winning, kind of like Kobe, and Brady was the one getting paid like that for real. So I give them 60 just because I respect their champions, and but the way the NFL is going now, like we just said, the Commanders and the Vikings, you never know, bro, you never know. They could lose in the first game they play in the playoffs. But I give them at least 60% chance though.
All right, so 6% chance from Amon. James, what do you give him?
Man, Ahmad, you tripping, man. You said Mahomes don't seem like he wants it. That don't make no sense. That man seem like he hungry every time he come out there and play.
Not to me, man.
Body, trying to make plays, trying to run the ball, see if he can get first downs. That man look like he stay hungry. And I think he's probably just a humble guy as well, man. So look, it's just, I think that if you look at Kansas City, they look depleted. They just don't look like they have the same offensive weapons like they had, in their previous, not last year's championship, the previous one, because last year they wasn't supposed to win last year. I don't even know how they won it with the squad they had. But it seemed like they just have the winning pedigree. They know how to win. They know what it takes. Andy Reid know what plays to call. It's just when you have a good coaching staff, and you got a system in place, teams know how to win within those systems when you have a good system in place. Because you look at Bill Belichick in New England. Nobody really thought they were a great team. They don't care. They got rid of people. They brought in new people. You thought you were bigger than the team, you're gone. But then they found ways to win because they were within a system where they knew how to win. And this system, they know how to win. But the chances of a team three-peating is ridiculously low.
Yep.
Stats will show you there's probably about 15% chance of a team even repeating, 15.97% or something like that. But I'll give them 15% chance. I'll give them even lower because they're not really looking like a team they could really beat some of these other teams that are geared up to win right now. They just offensively, or let's say talent-wise, I don't think they could keep up with some other teams that got real good talent. I don't think they could hang on. Yes, last year they made it, but now we don't know when Rice is coming back. And Mahomes is going to try to do all he can. That defense is going to step up and play to see if they could beat playoff contenders. But I think that's where it's going to be left off at, being playoff contenders. They'll get knocked out.
All right, Wes, what do you say?
Yeah, it's never happened before, right? Like they've never had a three-peat. They've had a team get there in the Bills. They got there 3 times, and we know what happened there. But
didn't even get one.
It's tough, right? Hey, like the SEC, right? Every day, every week, you don't know who's going to win. The talent they're the best of the best. Okay, that's why they're getting paid. They're professionals. But when you have significant pieces down like Rice, Pacheco, Brown, the nucleus is still there of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed. Maybe Kelsey comes back to life, I guess, and starts feeding the ball more. Maybe Worthy is going to get more looks, and they start, maybe designing, specific game plans towards him and Kelsey more. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I would give them probably 50% chance right now to get back.
You said
to the
50% chance. Okay.
50% chance to get back. And that's only because they have a Mahomes and an Andy Reid. Yeah, they have won games and it has been ugly. But they won. And they continue to find a way. Like James said last year, Rice was their best receiver by far. They didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver. He was just under there. The closest to him, Watson, with 400 yards. And then you had Noah, I believe it's his name, right? Noah Gray
No agree. Yep.
and Marquez Scantling last year that
Marquez.
had 300
Yep.
yards for the year. Are you freaking kidding me? You're in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's amazing. So, they find ways to win. Call it I don't know if it's, something in freaking Arrowhead Stadium or whatever it may be, but there's something in the water down there. Reed is just a magician. So the defense, they have a good defense. The defense is kind of, been spotty here and there. They're with injuries as well. But you have a chance. When you have Andy Reid, you have Mahomes. And I know Mahomes the past 2 years hasn't really looked, like the Mahomes in the past, and we were kind of accustomed to. He's just slinging it around. But they are winning. They are winning games. They're in it like the Falcons, right? It seems like towards the end, they have time on the clock. There's a chance, and as long as they can do that, then it's doable. It's a possibility, but I'm not giving them 60, 70%. I mean, I even think 50 is very high for them, but they're the Chiefs. They are the Chiefs. They are who we thought they were.
Yeah, exactly. So for my take on it, I gave him a 40% chance, and one is because the leaders that you have on the team have been there. They went through the hardest one that they won last year, where everybody I think on the every time we got on the name we talked about the Chiefs, we were just like, well, I know I was thinking in the middle of the year, man, they ain't winning this year, and that's the very thought I thought about, and that's why I wanted to ask the question. Every game they've won, and guess what, guys? They won every game this year so far. And every game they've had this year, they've struggled in, but they found a way to win. Baltimore Ravens, the team that I know pretty much high, we would all have them high on the AFC as of right now. If we had to go to playoffs right now, I'm pretty sure we would have the Ravens high on that list. But they beat them in the first game. Now, as the season gets towards the end, that's when they really start to show up, and they really start to get more focused because they know the playoffs is just around the corner. Which that's all that matters in the NFL. You get hot at the right time, you get your guys focused, and the main thing is health. If you have health, good health at that time, you can definitely win. So I got them at 40%, and now I do know they've been struggling, but just like last year, I'm thinking that they're gonna somehow, some way, come out of it because I know for a fact that's one of the reason why most of those guys want to come back. Is for a chance to repeat and be something of history that nobody's ever done. So,
absolutely, and it's young into the season. I mean, not saying I'm sure they're going to possibly go after and bring in another piece, right? A wide receiver to help out. I'm sure. So, yeah.
But you know what though, I really, despite the 15% chance, I already give them a 33% chance to make it back to the Super Bowl. 15% chance to win it, but 33% to make it, because the AFC is acting crazy right now. It looks like there's no team standing out. There's no team, that's looking like they want it. Houston just looks terrible. They didn't look like I expect them to look. It's really it seems like the AFC has nobody. So yeah, 33% chance to make it, but the NFC is gonna be the team they gotta worry about if they accidentally make it in. If they trip into it's a 33% chance for me.
All right. So moving on to the last question for the night, and then we'll get into some game picks. The Philadelphia Eagles are 2-2 this year. Do you agree that they are still a top 3 team in the NFC this year? Do you agree that they're a top 3 team in the NFL this year? James, I'll let you go first. I'm on next, and Wesley will close us out on that part, and we'll go to the game picks.
Well, it's hard to say. In my mind, I got 2 answers. I'm like, no, not without their 2 top receivers, because Smith, AJ Brown hurt, but they're coming back. We know, they might be back after their bye week. They got a great running game now, but it's just, I don't know, man. Let's just give them top three. Let's just say, Detroit is up there. Let's just say 49ers, they're struggling right now, but we know their stars will be back too. So you got those two teams. Can we put anybody else ahead of them?
We just talked about them earlier. What about the Vikings? Wouldn't you put them up there?
Yeah, here we go. With Vikings slipping out my mind. So right there, that's three teams right there that for a fact are top three teams. And Detroit, they're coming back with a vengeance. I think they're gonna find ways to overcome where they messed up last year. They got that two-back scheme going, and it's looking even better than last year because now they established it. So I'm looking at those three teams, and I know 49ers will come back. I just don't know if Eagles have enough to really be said to be put in that top three to overtake those three teams. But when you have Saquon Barkley in the backfield and you got great receivers, as long as the quarterback play, Hurts can stay effective and make his reads and be patient in the pocket. Healthy, somebody could be bumped out. Yes, if they get healthy.
All right, Mom, we'll go to you next.
Okay, I'm gonna say they are, but I mean, injuries happen. We all know that, and just like James said, they'll come back eventually. Smith and Brown. I think Brown was a hamstring, I believe. But I play devil's advocate. Let's just say, even with the injuries, like we say, Jefferson's hurt. A lot of people got hurt players. CMC's hurt for the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So even let's just say at the beginning of the season when nobody's hurt, I think the Eagles are still one of the top three teams in the NFC. Because I mean, like say, the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons look better. The Vikings look better. The Commanders look better. I mean, for right now, but I mean, it's kind of like it's more of a marathon than a sprint. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like by the time playoff time get around, I've seen teams start 5-6-0 and then still miss playoffs because they go on like a losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, as long as it got hurt back there, and like I say, Saquon Barkley, I really believe Philly is always one of the teams that's gonna like grit and grime and spike. Because really, the Cowboys should be better, but I don't know even with them. But I still say at the NFC, they still one of the top teams. I mean, my personal opinion. I keep it
okay. That's we like that. Hey, I like the fact that we had a little bit of disagreement here. Wes, who do you have? Are they a top three team? Yes or no?
My man, I don't even think they're a top three in their own division. There's 4 damn teams in that division. So
okay.
I mean, look, they are hurt like everyone else. I mean, and you got the hammy, you got the concussion, but the good teams do what? They find a way to win. You have to. If someone goes down, someone's got to step up. The scheme Hurts hasn't looked like the Hurts that we've seen previously. I don't know if it's because you have Kellen Moore or it's Coach Sirianni and their relationship or what. But I think this is Sirianni's last year, and I think someone that we normally watch commentating, maybe I don't know about the last name, Belichick, shows up in Philly and turns it around a little bit, or maybe. But it's just I don't know, man. I mean, you're looking at it right now; they're just not playing good football. And that's just it is early.
We'll give them credit for at least being they're a 500 team right now.
They're a 500 team. They're hanging in there. We're like I said, it's early.
Yeah.
But they're not looking good. They're gonna have to figure it out. Someone's gonna have to step up. Saquon can't do it all himself. They're just gonna have to. They're gonna have to figure it out. Giants are playing a lot better. So I don't know.
Well, let's just look at let's just look at the schedule for the upcoming weeks and see what we think of it. So they had the bye week just past week, so they'll have Cleveland at home this coming up week. Then they're at New York Giants, at Cincinnati the following week. They play Jacksonville at home, at Dallas. Then they play Washington at home. That'll be a very good game. They're at the Los Angeles Rams, and by that time, you could very well have Cooper Kupp back, and you might even have Puka Nacua back at that game. So that'd be a tough game there. Then they're at Baltimore. They finished the season out with Carolina, Pittsburgh, at Washington, Dallas at home, and then New York Giants at home. So they got some definitely winnable games, but they definitely have some tough games ahead as well. I'm not going to say that right now they're a top 3 team, and the reason being is when I look at the offense and I try to compare, and every season is different, but when you try to compare just the flow of, they do have weapons. We just haven't seen them all together at one time. AJ Brown was only there for that one game, and he's been injured. So, and that was the first game. When we see them with him and Saquon and Devontae Smith and with Jalen Hurts and all of them healthy on a consistent week-to-week basis, I think our picture of them and our thoughts of them will be a little bit more clear. But as of right now, I can't say that they're a top 3 team. I just got to go by what I see, because who's to say when they come back that everything will just work itself out? We can say that easily, but we have to wait and see what reality is at that time. But those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, John, let me add to that, because there's another big factor that we're not, really calculating. I say, no, they're not a top 3, but when they guys come back, they're gonna have an offense that they can actually, keep playing to really become one of those teams. But the problem is their defense. Even when those guys get healthy, I don't see how their defense is gonna do anything for them. Because right now, if you look at the stats, they are 28th overall in defense. 28 out of the 32 teams. They are 26 in pass defense. They are 22nd in run defense. That is terrible. Now, if your offense is not functioning right, your defense is going to be out there continuously, and their stats is going to look bad. So I'm hoping maybe that's what it is, because they don't have all their offensive weapons right now at the same time. But once all their weapons come back, and if it look like the defense is playing better, then we're going to see that. But right now, the defense is giving up too much yards. You're not going to win games like that. And 3 games without AJ Brown, 2 games without Devontae Smith, because he got hurt. I believe it was the second game he got hurt, I believe. If not, it was early in the 3rd game of the season. So,
yeah, I would say that is a definite fact. They're going to have to clean up a lot of the issues they've been having on defense, especially down the stretch, if they want to win and go back into the playoffs and be definitely a top 10, a top team out the NFC. All right, let's get into
I can definitely see them losing. I can definitely see them losing out of all those games you listed. The rest, 8 or 9 losses.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Just based on the deep, just because of the. I mean,
some of the teams they'll definitely should win. I mean, they should win against.
Yeah,
you shouldn't see them winning against teams like or shouldn't see them losing. I should say teams like Jacksonville, Carolina Panthers. That should be a win.
Sure.
And I mean, to me, the weakest team in the NFC East is the Giants. To me, I mean, if you can't beat the Giants in that division, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, they're playing a lot better now.
Yeah, who did the Giants just beat?
The Seattle.
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 It was 3-0. Now they lost 2 in a row, 3-2. I mean, they look like they're a solid team, but 3-2 now. Anyway, let's go on with these picks. What's going on? Let's go.
All right, so game picks for this week, and I'll keep you guys names for which team, and I'll just call you guys out. 49ers this upcoming week. 49ers are playing the Seahawks this coming up Thursday. Wes, who you got?
I know Moody just went out. I think he's hurt now. I don't know. I think we're going to get a bounce back. We'll go 49ers.
49ers. James.
49ers and Seattle Seahawks. OMG. Oh. Man. I don't know, man. 49ers just lost today to the Cardinals, and I did not expect to see that happen. So, it's just making me think what's going on with them. I know they don't have a couple weapons, but man, you know what? I'll just say 49ers because I just can't imagine them losing another one next week. So I'll just say 49ers.
All right, you got 49ers as well. Amon, who you got? 49ers and Seahawks.
Give me Seahawks, man.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted to pick.
I got Seahawks as well. They are playing at Seahawks. I like the 12th man up there. And I don't know. I like the fact that how McDonald's got those guys playing right now. So I'm gonna pick the Seahawks. Next game, Cardinals versus the Packers. Wes, who you got?
We're going Packers.
Packers. James, who you got?
Oh, Packers for sure.
All right. Amon, who you got?
Where they playing at? Green Bay or
They're
Arizona?
playing in Green Bay. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it's Green Bay.
Give me the Packers, man.
All right. And I'm a Packer fan. Please don't even ask me. Nah, I'm just joking, but nah, it's gonna be Packers for me as well. I'm glad we've actually found a way to win against the Rams, even though they did play us hard. Next game, Buccaneers at the Saints. Wes.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. All right, James.
I think I'm gonna say Buccaneers too.
Bucks. Amon.
Who that? Give them Saints.
Okay. All right. I got the Saints as well. Looks like we got a couple picks. It looks like it's tag team. It's gonna be Wes and James, it's gonna be Amon and John.
Switch my Saints too.
Saints, okay.
Yeah,
All right, go back to
Going to the
James
losing
Saints.
side.
All right. We're leaving you by yourself, Wes.
Okay. All right.
All right. Next game. This is gonna be a
lonely.
very, very almost I want to say even to an extent, except for one team has a better defense. But let's see what you guys say. Commanders versus the Ravens. This is gonna be a very good game. Wes, who you got?
And it's at Commanders, correct?
No, this game is gonna be
In Baltimore.
pull up the whole schedule.
Which is basically
don't
next
matter.
door. Yeah, it's
Right
next
by
door.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah, this game is at the Ravens, man.
Give me give me the Commanders.
Commanders. James.
Ravens.
Ravens. Amon.
Commanders.
All right. We James and I will be suiting together with the Ravens on that. I'm sorry, I ain't picking against King Henry right now, and I'm not picking against Lamar Jackson throwing 4 touchdown passes. Sorry.
It's okay.
Next game. Chargers at the Broncos. Wes.
Broncos.
Broncos. James.
Give me them Bronx.
Broncos. Amon.
Chargers.
Chargers. And as my man Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, go Chargers, go. I'm going with the Chargers. All right. Next game, Lions at the Cowboys. Wes.
Give me those cats.
You said give you the cats? Okay.
Cats. Give me the cats.
All right, some Lions. All right. Gotcha. James.
I'm gonna go Lions too.
All right. Amon.
Man, give me 8 Mile. I rode the Lions.
I think everybody will pretty much be going with the Lions, and that's because if there's no Micah Parsons on that defensive side, man, let's be honest. And you also have DeMarcus Lawrence out. That's going to get ugly very fast. Yeah. I would be very shocked. If there's an upset, somebody knew something. I mean, something that's, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I went against Dallas this week, but if I didn't, I definitely want to switch my pick because I noticed Parsons and the other top defensive player was out. I was like, oh, they ain't finna win nothing.
Oh, yeah, man.
Because they're playing today. They should be about to start.
Right, they are. They're about to start. Last pick. Bills versus the Jets. Wes, who you got?
Oh God. Give me the Bills.
Bills. James.
Jets.
Right. Come on.
Give me. We playing New York or Buffalo?
They're at the Jets. They're at the Jets.
Ah, give me a Jets, man.
Okay. All right. I will take the Bills. They were close today. I think they could have got it done, but they fell short. But I got the Bills. All right. All right. So that'll conclude the show for today. If you like us, please just like us on the YouTube channel. Also subscribe if you can. We enjoy you guys, fans out there. We do have a lot of things going on. We'll have in the upcoming future. But for the rest of the evening, you guys have a great week and stay blessed.
All right, you guys too.
Have a good one.
Right.